Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight Podcast, your primary source for every bit of information, synopsis, review, stupid ideas about the entirety of Nicolas Cage's filmography. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined, as always, by my faithful and trusty co-hosts, Rich and Ryan. How are we feeling today, guys?
I'm eating everything that's put in front of me, regardless of how gross, like I'm back in high school. And that'll make sense when we get to the lemon scene.
I loved the lemon scene.
How can you not?
The lemon scene's a great scene. How you feeling, Rich? You got anything? The lemon scene.
I'm sorry.
You went right down a trail in your head there, but I am interested to know how you're feeling.
For timeline purposes, my favorite sports ball team is playing tonight, and I'm stressed.
Oh, so we got to put the pedal to the metal on this, so you can. What's your favorite sports ball team? I don't know this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay, all right. So you're a cricket man?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the sport.
Oh, shit, I thought that was curling.
No, so you're
I
a
do
basketball
fuck with
fan.
the curling.
That is
Yes.
like the only thing I'll watch the Olympics for. When curling is on, I'm tuned in.
Rich.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you a sports question because my brother's very into sports. I'm very not, and I ask this all the time. I think the most superior sport, hands down, is hockey because there are rules that allow you to fight other people.
I agree.
So why should this not be allowed in basketball? Or do you think it should be allowed?
I believe that it should be allowed. I don't know if it should be allowed.
Okay.
But they should allow people to be a bit rougher and just be like they kind of did it in basketball. You have these things called flagrant fouls, which is like a foul that has the intent to hurt or injure. And you have a flagrant one, which is like, okay, you whacked him in the face really hard, but like you kind of didn't mean it. We're going to give you a flagrant one because like you were just out of control. Or if you do the same move and the ref's just like, no, you meant to do that shit. That's a flagrant 2. You get kicked out of the game.
Oh, okay.
Do away with that. Just give everybody 2 flagrant fouls.
Okay.
So you get 1 free shot, basically.
I'm
See,
interested.
the reason why I don't think they should allow straight-up fighting in basketball is because they're not wearing a shit ton of pads.
Okay, so here's...
And hockey fights are also very respectful.
Yeah. Like, they go by
I can
Marquis
imagine
and
basketball
Queensbury rules.
We're doing they approach it
All
like
right,
samurai.
I am going to literally tell you
fisticuffs.
one of my favorite clips that I've ever seen. It was a dude on the Philadelphia Flyers and a dude from another fucking team. I don't care. And with a hockey team, with a hockey fight, like the first thing they do is they grab each other's like jersey with their like non-punching hand.
Yeah, they yoke them up.
So they do that, and you hear the guy on the Flyers say, like, just yell at him, "Which of your shoulders is your bad shoulder?" And the guy says, "What?" And he says, "Which one of your shoulders is your bad shoulder?" And he says, "The left one."
And then the guy immediately punches him in the left one?
No, and he stays away from his
yeah.
left shoulder the entire fight. That's what I mean when I say, like, they're kind of respectful sometimes. Sometimes they're not.
Yeah. Like that guy who grabbed his fucking skates and tried to stab a dude in the 90s.
So I will...
Can you talk about Happy Gilmore?
That actually happened! One of the dudes I worked with was telling me about that the other day. And I was like, oh shit, I thought that was just a Happy Gilmore joke.
So I'll tell you a real quick... My brother's explanation is fighting is allowed in hockey because they are on ice. If you can plant your feet, you can kill a man in a fist fight. So if you can't plant your feet, which is questionable as to whether or not you can do that in skates on ice...
time out. Time the fuck out.
Yeah, this man has played some hockey in his day. I think we've got a...
It is so easy to plant your feet. If I wanted to kill you playing ice hockey, I could. Especially when a fight, if the helmet comes off, you have a... No, but you have They give you there is a weapon required to play the game of ice hockey.
Sure, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
I haven't
that's
seen
why-
any
If you wanted
hockey
to
fights
murder
involving
somebody,
the
you
sticks.
could.
See, this is why Mutant League Hockey is the best sports video game of all time.
Okay, so I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to better myself. With my
It is not hard to get your footing on ice. It's actually very easy. You just plant your edge, and you're really not moving.
So, do you think, like, if they did like a scientific study, can a UFC fighter, if you taught them how to use skates, would their punch score be the same on skates and ice as it would be in a ring, or would it be less?
No,
on
because
average?
you can't drive off your back. You really can't drive off your back foot.
Okay, so
Like there is something to what your brother is
okay.
saying.
All right, well, that
But
makes sense.
like a UFC fighter,
Well, they're
you
professional
put
punchers.
a UFC right. If you put a UFC fighter on ice skates on ice and put a basketball player or a football player like on the ground and tell them to fight, I still have money on the UFC fighter. It doesn't matter.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. I mean, really, the whole. Have you guys seen Goon or Goon?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's based on a true story about a guy who got signed to a hockey team because he fought a hockey player who climbed into the stands to fight him when he was a fan, and he beat the dog shit out of the guy. And they're like, "You're just our fighter. That's what we're gonna do. You don't know shit about hockey, but you fight good."
In the minor leagues, especially in like the 80s and 90s, like you could get away with that. You couldn't do it in today's hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You need to have some sort of skill to keep up. But like in those days, like you could absolutely just have a designated goon. A lot of NHL teams had it.
I love the term designated goon. That's so good.
It's ruined by today's vernacular. I'm pretty sure I went off on the fucking
Yes,
kids
on Goonie,
vocabulary last episode. I hate to do a bit twice, but nowadays they've ruined that term.
Look, a goon is just a guy who goes, "Oh, boss, what am I doing?" And then he punches a guy really hard. He's got his brow all the way the fuck over his eyebrow. Eyes.
I'm a return guy just to call those people edgers again.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's good. All right, this has been teaching Josh about sports ball corner. We might have to make it a regular bit, but I do feel more educated, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. That being said, today we are here to talk about the movie The Trust. It was a 2016 film, rated R, clocking in at a very smooth hour and 32 minutes. This is our sweet
And
spot,
at
guys.
least 2 of those minutes are credits.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this was a very us movie. I was going to say this is probably the most I don't know how to describe it, but like, you kind of go into a movie expecting like it's probably not that good and you're surprised. This is like Kill Chain Between Worlds level for me.
I was going to ask
like-
Agreed.
that. I was
Okay.
going to ask that. Like, our categorizations, I feel like our true fans know when we give the Between Worlds Kill Chain style stamp, we're talking about a very specific type of movie. And I knew I was going to vote for that, and it's good to know that Rich is on my side for that. And Ryan, did you agree as well?
Absolutely, 100%. This
Perfect.
is definitely the hidden gem that we are specifically digging in that mountain for.
Awesome.
Oh, yes.
God, I wish I wish some of the places that we published episodes through allowed us to put like icons on shit like that, because these are the ones where it's like, if watch the movie before you listen to the episode. We very rarely say that. Most of the times we're like, we're saving you from yourself. But this
Like
is one of the
last
ones-
week.
Yeah. This is one of the ones I absolutely recommend to watch. It's fun. It's fun, and I wish we had more movies that were fun in the way this one is. It's not. I mean, it's a little formulaic, but the high points, the things that it does right, are, to me, fantastic. Worth stopping right now before we get to any of our monetization points. and watching, and then come back and listen to us. But
or just listen to it twice. Give us the money twice.
Sure, absolutely.
Give us the money, Lebowski.
So let's jump into
I
housekeeping.
will piss on your rug.
Micturate.
Let's hop into housekeeping because it's actually this is one of the more interesting ones because we have a lot of, I don't know if they're necessarily up and comers or unknown quantities, but this was having done all of our housekeeping over the years at this point. Jesus Christ, time is a motherfucker. But I found this one to be kind of interesting. So we have a director duo, brothers, as far as I am aware. First up, we have Alex Brewer, who has directed mostly music videos. I pulled out some highlights. We have, and I'm going to fucking mispronounce this because my music education stopped when emo died. Sort of died. Transitioned to Midwest emo. I don't know.
No! Midwest emo is the progenitor. It went back to Midwest emo. If that happened, I didn't pay attention.
Oh, so it's circle. We
You kind of went like Sunny Day Real Estate to like the Get Up Kids to like the shitty 2006 pop punk.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm following you up to here.
At a certain point,
and then pop punk got good again in like 2010, and then we're back to Midwest emo.
Okay, cool. It did come full circle. That makes me happy.
it makes sense. It does make sense. You're
Yeah, but like,
listen to more Heat
co-opted
Miser.
for the mainstream, and then you come back to the progenitor.
Everyone should listen to Mineral. That's all I'm
There
saying.
you go.
yeah.
but
Everybody should listen to Texas is the Reason too.
Mm-hmm,
Okay. I'm taking notes. So we got David Guetta? Does anybody know?
I don't know. I hate that man.
Guetta, and isn't he a DJ of some sort?
Yeah, but it was featuring Justin Bieber. They also directed a music video for the Chainsmokers, Skrillex, Alt J, and then otherwise
Skrillex coming back to the emo.
So what you're telling me is I should fucking hate this man.
He otherwise directed 2 shorts and this movie, and that's it. That's Alex Brewer. Then we have Benjamin Brewer, who...
I thought his brother was Jim Brewer. Okay. This is bad.
Come on, man. Did the same as his brother, except he is the sole director, not working with his brother, on the upcoming Nick Cage movie Arcadian, which sounds kind
That's
of
out.
interesting.
I heard really good things.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I wasn't aware of the release date on that. Gonna have to check it out. We're obviously gonna cover it.
Absolutely.
So, moving on to writers, and this
real quick, I do want to say, just because on the when we were just talking before we started recording, we were saying how good the visuals were. Benjamin Brewer did the visual effects for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I didn't catch that. That's awesome.
Huh. Triple threat guy then, because Benjamin Brewer is also one of the writers of this film.
Yes, and he's written other things. I just happened to peep that he did the visual effects for that, and I was like, oh, maybe that's why this movie is not dog shit in the visual department.
So
yeah, because the cinematographer is not that interesting. The only cool thing he's done was Green Room. And his name's Sean Porter, just so I don't snub that man. But yeah, Green Room's the only cool thing that dude has ever done.
I fucking love Green Room. By the way,
that's Patrick Stewart is a Nazi, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Where's the punk band that goes to a Nazi bar and plays Nazi punks fuck off?
Yes.
Okay. I've been told that like aesthetically you will love this movie. The content,
it's an anxiety attack. Yeah.
No. If you haven't watched Green Room, fucking watch Green Room. Watch Blue Ruin.
Blue Ruin, yeah, the movie about a man who's just really bad at revenge.
It's well, that specific director is, in my opinion, a genius with the incompetent protagonist style of story. Blue Ruin is that. Green Room is that. And then his first entry was Murder Party, which is specific. If you
I thought that was fun. Yeah.
I liked Murder Party, but it is a little bit niche. If you went to art school, watch Murder Party.
Yeah, totally. Those dudes were
freaks. The underlying message is 100% for art school students. Anyway, no, that is good to know. But yeah, no, Benjamin Brewer wrote for the film Beneath Contempt, a short called A Folded Ocean, and Reptile, which was a Netflix release with one of his co-writers was Benicio del Toro, who also starred in it. It's not bad. It's a little convoluted. It's one of those sort of crime dramas. I didn't hate it. Justin Timberlake is in it as like a real estate agent or something like that. Not a bad flick though. And so I give him kudos on that writing credit. The other writer is Adam Hirsch, who besides this, only wrote for 2 other shorts, Faith Healer and Revolver. So a lot of unknown quantities as far as the directing and writing so far, but we can move on to cast at this point. So first up, as always, we have Nick Cage as Stone. I'm going to refer to their characters. They say their first names several times in the film, but because of how they're credited, I just refer to them as Stone and Waters. We'll get into it. Next up, we have Elijah Wood as Waters. Elijah Wood, if you haven't heard of him, has been in a number of things.
I've never heard of him.
I don't know that man.
Tell me at least 3 movies he's been in.
Sure. An extensive filmography, which I had the pleasure of just picking out the ones that were my favorites. I love when that happens. So Elijah Wood was in The Faculty, Lord of the Rings.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it.
Spy Kids 3.
Never heard. No, wait, I've seen that one. That movie's good. That movie fucks.
The 2012 remake of Joe Spinell's Maniac.
I
haven't heard of this Lord of the Rings indie movie you're talking about though. What is that? Give me a 30-second synopsis on what Lord of the Rings is.
A couple of twinks walk really far to throw a ring into a mountain.
How fuckable are the twinks?
At least one of them is super fuckable. The other one, probably a taste issue.
There's the tiniest bear you've ever seen in that film, though.
Yeah.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Sin City.
Best part of Sin City.
Yeah,
we talked about
agreed. He's fucking
Maniac.
terrifying in that.
Yeah, he's good in that. Maniac, which Ryan already mentioned. Wilfred, I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, which is a film I recommend. I think it's criminally underrated. In Boots O'Reilly's most recent directorial, I'm a Virgo. And also, for our video game fans, he's the voice of Spyro. Were you guys aware of this?
I thought that was just in the Spyro animated TV series, not in the actual games.
Double check your notes on that, because he has a number of Spyro credits.
I also do want to shout out he was Dirk Gently in Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, a series of novels written by the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy dude, where Douglas Adams, that's the man. It's about a detective who helps gods solve their problems.
Oh shit! Yeah. I'm familiar.
I don't know if you mentioned Green Street Hooligans, but Green Street Hooligans whips ass.
There you go.
Yeah, it does.
Fucking Elijah Woods. Check out his shit, dude. You'll enjoy it. Next up, we have Sky Ferreira as Woman. Sky Ferreira was in, along with music career and music videos, but as far as her Hollywood performances, she was in The Green Inferno, Baby Driver, the 2017 Twin Peaks, Lords of Chaos, and Reptile. So we have another example of going to the same well if you are a director, writer, etc. Next up, we have Alexandria Lee as Nina, who was in a number of things that I haven't seen. Just calling that out, but she was in Anybody Can Dance 2, Poor Boy, Dealer, and Vienna and the Phantoms. Phantoms is spelled weird if you're trying to track it down. It's spelled Fantomes.
That might be Phantomas.
It might be Phantomas.
Because there's an Italian pulp action, I won't say hero, like an anti-hero named Phantomas.
Huh.
Next up, we have Ethan Suplee as detective.
In the Wikipedia, he is credited as Russian roulette detective.
Yeah,
Nice.
that tracks.
The official credits, I believe, is just detective.
It's just detective, but I just found that funny.
That is very funny.
Because when I was watching it, I was texting you guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, like, Ethan Suplee is in this as a, like, one-off, because I looked at the Wikipedia and it said a Russian roulette detective, and it is not a one-off. He's in one of
He does this
one of
bit
the
a couple
harder
of times.
scenes in the movie.
Yes. If the name doesn't ring a bell, I guarantee you know this man. He was in Remember the Titans, The Butterfly Effect, a number of Kevin Smith movies, Boy Meets World. His dad was Vader. American History X, Art School Confidential, Wolf of Wall Street, and the 2017 Twin Peaks.
Both of the Twin Peaks references that we've had so far were only in a single scene. I could talk about them probably for an entire hour, though.
I throw them in for Ryan because if I miss a Twin Peaks appearance by an actor or actress, I get called out on it. So I've learned a lesson.
I thought that was a special treat for you, me with the yelling.
Oh, I love it. I honestly love it, and it is also Pavlovian in its impact on me.
Cool.
So I can't remember where I heard it, but somebody was asked the question, do you think every time Pavlov heard a ringing bell, he thought about feeding his dogs? And I can't reference it without thinking of that quote. Next up, this is an entrance that's kind of for me. We have Stephen Williams as Cliff, who is a minor character in this film. He shows up once for about 4.5 minutes. However, he has an extensive filmography of cool fucking shit. Check out Stephen Williams. He was in the Twilight Zone movie. He was in the original 21 Jump Street TV show and had a cameo in 22 Jump Street, the Jonah Hill, what's his name?
Channing Tatum.
Beefcake. Yeah. Film. He was in Jason Goes to Hell, which is a lovely entry in the Friday the 13th franchise.
I agree. That one's kind of great.
I like that one. I'm not going to get into that because we're not reviewing Friday the 13th movies.
Why?
He was in Stake Lander, which I believe was the third film in the Stake Land series, which is a not super well-known dystopian vampire apocalyptic film series.
I'm pretty sure I saw the first one, and I was like, I don't need any more of this.
I saw the first one. I liked it. I saw the second one. I also enjoyed it, not as much as the first one. And I haven't seen Stake Lander, which is the third one. But I'm probably going to go and check it out. He was in the 2017 It film, and he was also in the direct-to-Netflix Velvet Buzzsaw, which I would say is otherwise an unremarkable horror film, except for the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal has a cage-worthy unhinged scene in it that I recommend people watch just for that part. And then last up, we have, in his last film appearance, the Jerry Lewis.
Not the cousin fucking Jerry Lewis. The TV and slapstick comedy Jerry Lewis.
The Dean Martin partner Jerry Lewis.
Yes.
As Stone's father, who was in the 1963 Nutty Professor, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, which was the inspiration for Rat Race for our younger folks. Who's Minding the Store, the king of comedy.
Best one he's ever been in. That movie is fucking great.
Yeah.
Robert
Jerry
De Niro
Lewis
kidnaps him in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Jerry Lewis, if you're not aware, your parents fucking, well, your
grandparents probably love him.
Loved this dude. And that is going to close us out for housekeeping, which means it's time for boop, boop, boop. a
Dick pills?
procedurally generated ad.
Dick pills. Okay, we're back.
What, weren't those some great ads? Subscribe to our Patreon if you hate that shit. We don't care either way. So now we can.
I guess I'll. Well, hold. I mean, you mentioned it, so
Yeah,
Patreon.com/Nick Cage Fight. Go there and give us $1. There, done.
It's
That's
fun.
the pitch.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Doesn't it make you horny to give us money?
I know it makes me horny when everyone else gives me money.
Yeah, same.
The whole world is my pay pig.
Just be Nick Cage from Leaving Las Vegas, where giving us money makes you horny.
We will also accept if you write into the email address. You can take us out for a nice discounted prime rib dinner, and we'll give you the episodes free of ads.
Oh yeah, I am not above $17 prime rib.
Absolutely. I mean, hell, I'll even settle for a sirloin topped off with a next mushroom duxelle.
Oh, there you go. So we can get into the plot of this film. We open on some fun aerial shots of what's supposed to be Vegas. As far as where they were actually filming, I didn't care. I was just digging into where it was supposed to be set. And we get we get phenomenal introductions to our characters, 100%.
So good. I loved it.
So,
Especially Elijah Woods when he's staring at the mole.
yeah, we get Waters, Elijah Wood's character, looking super distracted, disassociating, as a woman is having sex on top of him, like with him, but he just seems super disinterested. It's such an odd scene.
Yeah, Elijah's not here, man.
It sticks with you. And in this intro, we're cutting back and forth between our two main characters, Waters and Stone. So we cut to Stone, which is Cage just with a wicked mustache. No way we can't comment on how solid
It's a
that
great
mustache
cop
is. It's a great
cop mustache.
It might be his
100%.
best cop mustache.
I would agree with that.
Better than 211 at least.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there weren't a whole lot of good things about 211.
I mean, there was a man turning into a ghost.
The cut after.
Yeah, there was that.
That wound couldn't possibly kill that man. And then the meme spitting out my cereal when they cut back to him.
We talk about that a lot for how much we hated that movie. I'm going to be honest on that.
It's one of
It's
the
so
most
funny.
shocking transitions in the history of cinema. I will fight that fight for that film.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Stone is getting dressed and putting on aftershave. We cut back to Waters, who this scene really cracked me up because I used to do it when I was working service industry jobs. I wouldn't so much do it if I worked in a fucking police department. But Waters is smoking a joint as he gets dressed for work, which is amazing. It's fantastic and such a great establishing shot for the character itself. Waters leaves money on the dresser, which I wasn't 100% sure on this. Is that where he lives? Because we don't cut back to his house. Was he just...
I think he lives in that dingy little one bedroom, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I had thought that maybe he was just kind of getting some before work. But I wasn't sure. Because when he leaves, you see, the guy sleeping on the bench in the lobby.
Rich is right. I'm sorry. I just figured it out for myself. We do see him at home later. It's not in the apartment complex.
Okay, so he was getting some nookie.
He was paying for something.
Paying
specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
one of my favorite parts of that is when he's leaving the money on the dresser. He pulls out 220s, drops them down, pulls out a 10, drops it down, then looks back at it, thinks about picking the 10 back up, and then is like, no, and just leaves it there and leaves.
Yes.
Was this really worth $50?
But yeah, no, another great aspect of character building, and such a brief scene, but fucking Elijah Wood murders it through this entire film. So does Cage. Spoiler alert on that. That is going to be something that we refer to repeatedly. I guarantee.
Yeah, and they really did a lot with this movie with those two by just putting it in their hands for 95% of the movie.
100%. And
like 95% of the
do.
movie is just them talking.
So, we cut back to Stone as he gathers his bag and walks out of his house. And Stone and Waters both arrive at a crime scene, the same crime scene, at the same time. Waters hops a fence, is hoping nobody notices that he's a little bit late. Stone goes in the front. But the point of this introduction to the characters is highlighting their personality traits. Stone is almost like OCD, in my opinion, in his approach to things. Like, his morning routine seems super set. He gets himself together, he gets his bag, he goes to work. Waters is just pure chaos. And their interactions sort of highlight this, but it lets Cage do a bit of a heel turn with Stone when he shows off some quirkiness. Stone is a really complicated character, in my opinion. And Cage,
seems to be really into and good at his job, but also really hates his job.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that struck me where it was like, I'm sure both of you have been in this situation where you're at a job during the period where you care, and you're like, this is how we could do it better, and everybody's like, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about, and then you lose interest and start just looking out for yourself. That's Stone to me.
Literally every job I've ever had.
Sure, of course. Everybody gets there eventually. So, at the crime scene, like I said, Waters charges in, just double checks with everybody else working there. Did anybody notice that I was late? And his coworkers being like, no, you're fine. And then we cut
him jumping over and almost face planting.
Yeah.
I wish he would have face planted. I really feel like it would have set the tone for the movie a bit better.
That would have been good. Him hitting the ground and then straightening himself out before he goes into the house. That would have been solid. I'm sure it was pitched in the writer's room, based on the writing that we see. Because then we cut to Stone, who is he has just a packed fucking ashtray. The crime scene is at basically a trap house, right?
Yeah.
So if you've ever been to the place of somebody who doesn't give a fuck or respect the lodgings that they have, that kind of ashtray, 500 cigarette butts crammed into a fucking ashtray from the 50s for sure.
Yeah.
That dull green glass. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen it.
The glass that might actually be radioactive.
Yeah. You watched your grandma put Pall Malls out in that fucker. I guarantee it.
And somehow it's like a blooming flower of cigarette butts.
Yes. Yeah, but Stone is lecturing one of the forensic guys, we have to get evidence on all of these. DNA can get pulled off of any one of these, and those could crack the case. He seems very straight-laced about this.
I mean, thinking about that specifically now, he might have just been fucking with that guy.
Entirely possible. Again, I said Stone is a very complicated character that I think the movie does a very good job of. By the time I got to the end of it, I legitimately feel like I don't understand that character. In a good way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's supposed,
I can agree with that.
It's supposed to be vague and unsettling to a certain extent. And I think it does that job in spades. So, Stone gets interrupted in his diatribe to the forensics guy to be informed that the captain is outside and wants to speak with him. So Stone goes out and he has a whole fucking folder, like a binder, like collated, put together at like a Staples for like $29. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I've
Where he
once or twice run a role-playing game campaign.
yeah, where he's
only once or twice.
Only once or twice. Definitely not thousands of hours.
He's explaining to his captain this process that he has researched heavily that allows for the bringing in of some sort of third-party company that helps reinforce chain of custody and should lead to more convictions and so on and so forth. It's nerd shit. It's job nerd shit. And the captain's like, "This is great, but you're talking about several $1,000s worth of investment. You should really talk to this person higher up." And Stone's like, "I did. They said I should talk to you." And the guy's like, "No, you should really talk to him. By the way, there's this John Deere tractor that got impounded and is going to go up for auction. I know you know guys at the auction house. I want to get this as a gift for my stepson, son-in-law, something like that."
Yeah, I think it was son-in-law.
Yeah, and I was hoping you could go check it out. And Stone is like, "What? You mean like right now?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, right now." And we get a funny cut back to Waters, who's processing evidence inside the house. And one of the techs discovers an unrestrained suspect in like a closet who knocks her over and then like runs through the house as the cops try and chase him.
And punches a cop as well.
Yeah, and then we cut back to Stone and the captain, and we watch this guy jump out a window behind them, like in unfocused camera space, and then get like dogpiled by a bunch of officers as the captain is sending Stone to do something incredibly personal and not professionally related in any way, shape, or form.
Wait, you're missing the best part of this scene, which is Elijah Wood just starts laughing at the cop who gets punched, and it's just like, "Are you okay?" And the cop's like, "No, I just took a punch to the face. I'm not okay." And Elijah Wood's just sitting there laughing at him.
As you do.
Well, yeah, if your friend gets punched in the face, it's fun.
It is generally pretty fucking funny when someone gets hurt.
Yeah. I mean, not like seriously hurt.
No, but like,
hurt,
if they get their
funny.
bell rung, that's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. There's... as we get older, like, we need to take a moment, savor it, because as we get older, those opportunities are going to present themselves less and less. Like, in 5 years' time, if we watch one of us, like, trip over a curb and fall, our first instinct is going to be like, do you need a doctor? Sir, are you okay? And you're like, motherfucker.
And my answer will always be, do not call an ambulance. I don't have health insurance.
Call an Uber. It's fine. You have a compound fracture.
But on your account.
You have a compound fracture. It's like, I'll put down a towel. Call an Uber. So, funny enough, this pointless errand from a captain who clearly does not respect Stone as a police officer is the catalyst for the entire events of this movie. So he goes to impound. He looks at the tractor. He's informed that the captain wants him to take some pictures on his phone. And they agree not to put it up for auction because the captain wants to get it for his son-in-law. While he's there, though, one of the guys who's working an impound shows him that they impounded a vehicle. And the I'm not a car guy. The pistons in the engine or whatever, the engine block, were
whatever it is, full of cocaine.
Sure, hollowed out, filled with cocaine. And they're like, "Oh shit, that's pretty clever."
I should know what those call. I think they're pistons. I'm gonna double check that though.
There you go. Fake it till you make it. That's what I'm calling them. But this leads Stone to pull the arrest record associated with this impound vehicle. And he sees what, for all intents and purposes, should be a low-level drug dealer However, somebody posted the $200,000 bail in cash, which raises some warning flags.
They're just called
for
cylinders.
Cylinders. Okay, whatever. So Stone takes this jacket of information back home and goes over it with his father, played by Jerry Lewis, who's like a former cop, right? That's the
implication, yeah.
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 And so he shows the file to his father, who goes, okay, so what I'm seeing is that a good cop would know exactly what to do here, because there's some interesting stuff. And Stone agrees, and then we cut to Waters, who's in his own home at this point, which looks like a modest townhouse or something like that. He has a cat. The cat shit on the floor.
Oh, I forgot about the cat shit on the floor. Yeah, I felt that in my heart.
Also, he's smoking weed again. He smokes weed almost all the time when he's in like a solo scene.
Can you blame him?
No, of course not. But I did think this was a very interesting part of the storytelling, because his cat shits on the floor. He looks at a box that is in his kitchen, and it says something like Julia's clothes, something like that. And he pulls an article of clothing from it, takes a moment to smell it, and then cleans up the cat shit with it and throws it in the trash.
So good.
Yeah, really
good.
So
one of the reasons why this is important is he was having sex with a sex worker in the first scene that we see him in. He has a box of clothes for a woman, and a focal point of some of the cinematography throughout the course of the film is that he is wearing a wedding ring. The implication being we never get an explanation for it, but that the wedding ended up in a separation of some sort, and he's clearly hung up on it enough to still wear his wedding band. But again, never addressed directly.
Good character acting without dialogue. I love that.
I love it too, man. Like, tell me the story. Let me try and fill in the gaps. This is a great example of that. Anyway, while he's doing this, he gets a phone call. And he answers it, and then we cut to sort of a club of some sort. And Waters is meeting with Stone.
Cool looking bar. Really good neon in there.
There's good neon. It's that weird, like, is it a strip club? Is it not a strip club?
I got more of like hotel lobby, like casino hotel lobby bar kind of deal.
Too much neon.
No, so I got a Vegas diner vibe, which would have slot machines.
Yeah, okay, that tracks, yeah. I don't know, it just really very specifically reminded me of the decor of the buffet on the ground floor at the Trump Plaza when that building still existed. They had that same kind of like neon across the ceilings and then mirrors everywhere type of deal.
Well, that was a weird building.
That was a weird fucking building. Absolutely. The East Tower, which is the only part of it that still stands, was absolutely haunted.
That's why it's still there. You can't get rid of ghosts.
It absolutely has nothing to do with the fact that the Rainforest Cafe refuses to evacuate.
I was gonna say, are we gonna get into a conversation about ghosts? Because I have a question. Why do poor people never become ghosts? You never see a haunted house movie where it's a condo. You know what I mean?
I disagree, because I've read a lot of haunted house books, and there are generally poor people ghosts. I mean, like, the whole fucking Victorian child ghost thing is usually poor children that died due to squalor. Also, I would say...
Is it in a manor? Because those weren't poor children.
Not always a manor. Sometimes they're in, like, somebody's refurbishing, like, a row house, and it's haunted.
Okay.
Japanese horror novels almost exclusively have to do with the poorer parts of Japan and like where there's a higher density of poor people, and that's like where the ghosts are coming from. It's usually like the American and UK haunted house movies that focus on manor houses and larger structures. that are haunted by the rich and fucking that type of stuff.
We need a new genre of haunted house story where it's just gentrifiers being absolutely tormented by the ghosts of the orphanage they built their fucking new townhouses on top of.
I got a book for you. It's called
The
Grip of It by Jack Jemick. Her prose is haunting, and it is about a couple of gentrifiers moving to a small town to do a fixer-up while their marriage is fucking collapsing and finding that the house is something that they did not expect it to be.
Love it. I'm going to check it out.
Good book.
After I finish reading the Fairy Smut series.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to support my wife's reading habit with.
And hey, if you need some sort of ghost removal service, I don't know. Are the Ghostbusters real yet?
No.
No, they're
Okay.
mostly just grifters, and they're on, like, Discovery, or I guess the back slot on TLC. I'm not 100% sure where Ghost Hunters land
Because
these
Zach
days.
Baggins... That's all I'm going to say.
Well, maybe
Just
Ghost
Zach
Hunters...
Baggins.
Maybe Ghost Hunters bought some ad time, so here you go.
Who are you going to call? Ghost fuckers.
And we're back from those delicious ads. You can eat those ads. They are 90 calories each.
Num num num.
But if you're on a diet, you can go to patreon.com/NickCageFight, give us $1, and
We'll suck all the fat out of you?
we'll cook out all the fat, all the ads like alcohol. I don't know.
That was smooth.
This analogy has gone off the
It
rails.
started great, though. That was smooth as Velveeta cheese, baby. I like that. I'm a big fan.
Well, yeah, it's a superior cheese.
It's because of
It's
those
not
emulsifying
cheese.
salts.
So the club scene is
Josh's palate just yelled at me.
No. Yeah, I'm a guy who I thought, well, when I was in college and on a shoestring budget, I thought the height of like our I'm super broke charcuterie board was getting a bag of beef jerky and putting squeezy cheese on it when we were super
That's
high.
pretty good.
It's
Let's
pretty
just-
good.
For me, it was always just the beanie weenies, and then you throw the Velveeta cheese in there.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, one of my favorite poor people meals is going to Aldi, and you can get a pack of 8 hot dogs for like $1.25.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have the knockoff Pillsbury shit, the crescent rolls. You take the crescent rolls and you cut each one in half.
Now you're speaking
Cut
the
the
language
hot
of
dogs
the
in
gods.
four.
Pigs in a comforter.
Boom. Yes.
Hell yeah. Now, whenever you go into Aldi's, do you have to whisper to yourself, Aldi's nuts? Because I do. I have to. It's just necessary.
I do not.
I'm going
But I
to
feel
from
like I'm
here on
going
out.
to now. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. I got one of my friend's moms to start doing that, and she tells me that it drives her fucking crazy because she can't stop.
Amazing. Absolutely fantastic. I was going to ask, as far as poor people meals go, I have to do a quick diversion on this. Did you guys ever do beans and cheese? For a minute
Oh,
there?
yeah.
No, because I do not. My body rejects most kinds of beans.
Okay, I was going to say, for a minute there,
Sad.
one of my like, I'm super broke, I would get a bunch of cans of refried beans, a bag of like this is about to go bad shredded cheese, and eggs back before the egg price spike, and I would make refried beans, shredded cheese on it, microwave it, and fry an egg and throw on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, you got your protein.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
yeah. If I
You got
could
your fiber.
get the salsa, it was the weirdest huevos rancheros you've ever had.
I mean, are you even putting this over like tortillas or anything?
No,
or, like,
no.
nachos?
Just
Okay,
straight out of the
yeah.
bowl, homie.
All right, straight out of the bowl. That's
Just-
what I thought.
Runny, sunny side up eggs on just a bowl of refried beans covered
God,
in
I
shredded
bet you.
cheese.
I'm fucking. The farts must have been nuclear.
Oh, it was rancid.
Yeah.
It's terrible, man.
It smelled like the Hellmouth.
Yeah, no. And every trip to the bathroom felt like you were miscarrying Satan's child. Back to the plot. That's a segue right there. So, the club scene is a fantastic scene, and considering the time we're at, I think we eat this scene very, very closely here because it's one of the best in the film, and that's a decent enough cliffhanger for us to pick up next time. So Waters is hesitant to humor Stone because Stone puts this crime jacket in front of him and asks him what he sees that is significant, and Waters is like, this is stupid, I don't care, to the point that Stone actually directs him to the bail notice. And that's when Waters' interest is piqued, and he goes, $200,000 paid in cash. What is it? It was a cashier's check, I believe it was. And they're discussing what this means. And what they land on is somebody that's friends with this perp has very deep pockets. And this is intriguing to them. For what reason is not entirely clear at this point in the film. But it's at least outside of the normal bounds. They're talking about this in either a Vegas diner or maybe a put pasties over the nipples strip club. We're not sure. But it's certainly not a officially sanctioned location to have this kind of discussion.
Yeah.
But we get one of my favorite scenes. I think
all of our
favorite
scenes
scenes in the film.
Well, and this also, just before we go to that, there is a great running gag in it too. That it's like a bar, but Nick Cage is drinking coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he always, so the lady comes over to ask what Elijah Wood wants, and he's like, "Oh, just water." And Nick Cage is like, "Oh, can you top me off?" And she walks away. He's like, "Wait, she had the coffee in her hand. Why is she walking away?"
A full coffee pot.
Yeah.
And he tells her like 4 more times, like, "Can you top me off?" And she's always like, "Oh yeah, sure," and just doesn't.
Amazing.
And he always makes a comment after it, like it's bothering him so much. It's so good. It's
one of those like plot points that we would call out, where he asked for this and the waitress walked away, and he immediately comments on it. He's like, "She had a full pot of coffee. What is going on?" And he's like, Miss, can I get coffee?" And everybody ignores him, which is amazing. And so then he points at Waters' coffee and says, "Are you gonna use this?" Referring to, he has 2 lemon slices on the rim of his water. Yeah. And Waters is like, "No, what are you talking about?" And Stone reaches over and grabs one of the water slices. He puts it on a napkin, and then he grabs a bottle of Tabasco sauce and coats the lemon in Tabasco. And Waters is like, "What are you doing?"
It is not a coating. That was a lot of Tabasco.
He dumps Tabasco on it.
Like, that's the amount of Tabasco I would put on both my eggs and potatoes.
A fair description.
I mean, that's going to be an acidic bite.
And he goes, he's like, Waters is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "No, this is one of my like favorite snacks or something like that."
Oh, he says, "Oh, you've never tried this?"
Yeah.
And then he just fucking pounds it down.
He eats the whole
rind and all.
What he says to really sell it is, "Oh, you've never had this? This one's yours. I'm taking this other."
Yeah.
So he puts it in his hand. So you kind of have it. It's a real scam move, and I fucking love it.
Yes, that's right. You're
like,
100% right on that. Yep.
Is he puts it in his hand and then grabs the lemon and does the thing again, continues talking, eats it, rind and all, continues talking as though nothing has happened. And then you see Elijah Wood look at it and go, "Well, okay." eats it and like immediately spits it out. He's like, "This is disgusting. You like this?" And Nick Cage's character just looks at him and goes, "No."
Well,
and walks away.
He says, "You think this tastes good?" And Stone's like, "No," and walks away. No explanation. It's so amazing.
It's perfect. It's the mission statement of a whole movie.
It is. It is 100%, and it's one of the reasons why I think I never, or I think it might be impossible to fully clock Stone in this. This is the start, and this is the start as you mean to continue for this character. 100%. But also, I'm not gonna lie, this is the hook I feel for the movie. If you get to this scene and you're like, I have to see more of it, maybe this flick isn't for you. But this is where I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I need to learn more. And I think that the film does a great job of tantalizing you without letting you eat your fill, which is kind of genius. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like people who have listened to us for a while know my main sticking point is story elements, and there's a lot of elements of this story that are left up to your individual imagination. And this is one of those where I feel like my initial knee-jerk reaction was to be frustrated, and then after a little bit more consideration, that turns into appreciation.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So, what a great scene. One of the best in the film, and I think it's a solid one to go out on.
Yeah, I think so. That seems like a good cliffhanger, because we've established some stakes. We've made some characters apparent.
I will say this. Let's go out on this, because Waters, I think, like the viewer, at this point, is intrigued. Is it because of the Tabasco lemon? I don't know. Is it because of the absurd bail? Maybe. But the entire point of this scene, the crux of it, is that Stone convinces Waters to trail this guy who's out on bail. See if there's anything there. It's weird, right? Weird like a lemon with Tabasco on it. Just check it out. I'll make sure you get those days off. And Waters agrees. Just like we all agreed to continue watching the film at this point. And I think that's as good a place as any to leave this, because shit pops off from here on out.
Yeah, we get to see Nick Cage do some pretty bad German, which is fun.
Hilarious. There's so much.
There's a lot of fun stuff happening from here on out.
Yeah,
the movie's just fun.
Yeah, the movie is fun, and it goes whole hog on it. So I'm a big fan. I'm excited to tell you about the rest of this film. If you're annoyed with this breakpoint, if you're hungry for more content, you can always check us out in different places. If you're a drunken uncle, Facebook is the place for you. If you think we might be Nick Cage, Facebook is the place for you. Check out Nick Cage Fight Podcast. If you search it on Facebook, I guarantee you'll find us. But we're also...
Yeah, if you think that Nick Cage is a CIA plant, Facebook.
Yes. Correct. If he's been replaced by a clone, comment on our Facebook page.
Is that why his teeth got better?
If you think that you can help Nick Cage's tax problems, you can by going to patreon.com/NickCageFight and giving us money.
But only if you're an uncle, and only if you believe we are Nick Cage.
Yes. Will we give it to Nick Cage? No. But we're also poor. And I'm sure one of us has tax problems, right?
Yeah, totally. It's me.
Am I going to have to start doing both of y'all's taxes for you?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I don't know how to do my taxes now that I'm a tip-based employee.
Oh, it's actually it's not that
Just
bad.
claim the minimum.
Okay, cool. I did claim the minimum, and I still owed like $1,000. I'm pissed about that.
I can help you with that. We'll take this conversation off air. If you want to interact with us directly, we're still on the sinking ship that is X. You can find us at cagefight_pod. We will be migrating to Blue Sky when that becomes the dominant Twitter replacement. Who knows when that's going to happen? But details.
Yeah.
To
So
come on
right
that.
now, Nick Cage Fight podcast and Nick Fuentes share a platform.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he just got reinstated on X.
Did he officially reinstate him?
Yeah.
I know he said he was going to, but I didn't see that the account. This is a safe space. I'm not going to talk about Nick Fuentes. And of course, Patreon was already dropped. But like I said, look us up. You'll find us. Thank you so much, as always, for choosing to spend your commute or the interminable hours at work with us, telling you about Nick Cage movies. And please always remember, dear listener, we appreciate you.